Hello friends, it's Lisa, and I'm back today with a review on the Spectrum Noir metallic dual tip markers. Now here's the precious metal set. I got 12 markers in total, and it comes with a large 9 by 12 black mat with 30 pages. 30 pages. And I got this from not from Amazon, from HSN the other day, and I wanted to try them out. So this is my review video. This isn't a technique video so much. I'm going to do a technique video probably next week. So what I'm doing now is I'm writing out everything I see on the packaging and that I can remember from, here I'm just pointing out that you want to store the markers horizontally, just FYI. But I'm on all those little sticky notes, I'm writing out all the different qualities I'm going to judge it on. And I'm doing it by the packaging and from what Sarah Davies said on HSN about these markers and what the markers could do. Because there's a lot of things I want to try with these markers, but I feel like I should judge them based on what they're made to do, right? And why am I doing this? I really wanted to try, I really like the idea of being able to draw on dark surfaces, and they sounded really cool. But I came in with kind of a wishy-washy feeling. So right now I am creating a matrix or whatever to test out all the markers. And it's a lot larger than you need for 12 markers. But I'm going to add the Daniel Smith Extra Fine watercolors because I also got a 4-pack of Resist dark paper from Crafter's Companion on HSN as well that day, so I wanted to try that out. And I thought, oh, what kind of watercolors do I want to buy? Because I almost bought some other metallic watercolors, so I got the dot chart from Daniel Smith, and I'm just trying to figure out what to buy. So here are the markers all lined up, all pretty fancy, and I'm going to show you. So that's the bullet end. And I'm going to write out the name Spectrum Noir metallic whatever markers. And I'm taking the brush end because one end is a nib and one is a brush, and I'm going to drag it across the paper and really see what it looks like. So here it is dual tipped and it has two really good ends, two helpful ends. So I gave it a 3 and it does cover beautifully. Now I will show you at the end of the video the full sheet. My phone ran out of batteries, so I wasn't able to video the rest of it, but it was exactly the same as that first marker. Now I have colored out some of the green onto my Tim Holtz Tonic Studios glass mat, and I'm using my Arteza water brush pen. I really like the Arteza brush pens. I haven't used a whole lot of water markers, but I would say that Arteza has really good markers. One thing you will note when watercoloring is it is going to stain that tip. And the watercoloring was really easy. You do want to get your drop of water in there pretty fast because it will dry pretty quickly, even on the glass, which is, you're not supposed to dry as fast. But see, even some of that's still dry. So now I'm trying the blending with glycerin. So you put a little bit of glycerin down and you grab the stuff and it comes up. It actually looks more vibrant here on the video than it did in person. So this didn't really work that well. I think I had too much glycerin, And those drops, I put 5 baby drops on my little blending tool. And when I do like distress ink, I put probably double that, and it works really well. So this one, this gold one, I didn't put any of the glycerin at all, and it worked a lot better. So now this is the next day, and I'm coloring it out. And if you put it on the resist and then use your blending tool to pull it off, it does work a lot better. So had the purple was a little bit more smooth than this silver ingot color. But I was able to get pretty vibrant when I didn't either barely used any glycerin, or even better when I didn't use any glycerin at all. And here I've taken a slightly damp and rubbed off the black resist area. The last thing that I had was, is it calligraphy marker? And I'm not a calligrapher, but I know when you go up, you don't do a lot of pressure, and when you go down, you do a lot of pressure. So I tried it for you guys. This one I just colored directly on, just colored with the markers. And then on the top half, what I did is I rubbed it with a damp cloth like I'm going to do here, and to try and get the marker off the black resist. And I got a little bit of a shadow. And I did that right after I had colored them. So I colored the whole thing, and then I did that. And I was able to get those black lines mostly back. Now it's 12 to 14 hours later, and I'm trying it, and look at this green one. It just pulls all the metallic part of it off. And it doesn't really make the black lines black. So just something to note. That was a little strange. I would just not worry about the black lines if you covered them. Here's the fully done watercolored piece. The bottom half I also wiped with a damp marker the day of, right after, and it all came off. The top half and like that flower that I was just picking at, I didn't, and I can't really get it off today. So, but I think the background looks really cool. When you start watercoloring with it, it's not as vibrant, right? And same with the glycerin, but it's to be expected. Here we are at the end, and I wanted to do a quick overview. So, here is my bar chart, and I rated them out of a score of 3, so 0 to 3, and you can see here are my 3s, here are my 2.5s, and here are my 2s. They are very metallic, so I gotta give them a 3. Oh, before we go further, I just remind you, these are from what Crafter's Companion put on their packaging, and what they said on HSN that these markers could do. So that's what I'm basing this review off of. There are some other different things I want to try and experiment with, but I wanted to review if I wanted to put these in my stash to like hold them forever. That's what this review is. And so I want you to see if what they're saying is true. And so that's what I am showing here. So is it true they're metallic? For sure, 100% they're metallic. Yes. Dual tipped. For sure they are. And they have 2 good tips. They have the bullet edge and the brush edge. If it hadn't have had the brush edge, it would have been -1 point. If it had the chisel edge instead of the bullet edge, it would have been -0.5 point. But we're good to go on that. Top scores. Covers beautifully. Yes. For sure, easily, yes. I had no problem with that. The pink quartz is the only place I had an issue, and I think that's just because that was the very first time I'd ever used that marker, and it was still like juicing up the tip, if that makes sense. You can see on right here, that's that same color, and it covered beautifully. So 3. Now, to the 2.5s. And before we go into that, 2.5 is a high score. It is a high score, so don't feel like it's low. It's not as high as it could be, I guess. That's really, I wanted to show that with the 2.5s. So the quality, I gave it a 2.5. I was really expecting this to be about a 1.5 to 2, but it's very nice plastic. The caps really match the color. I don't know if it's showing that in the video as well, but in person it does. It's heavy enough in your hand. It's not too heavy that it's going to strain you, but it's heavy enough that you feel like you're actually writing or coloring, or if you've ever had a pen or something in your hand that is just way too light, you'll know what I'm talking about. The quality of the ink is a 2.5 too. So it's part of this quality. The one downside to the ink, and we'll get in, you'll see that in a minute, is it does rub off, like the metallic-y part. It's just not as permanent as I thought it was going to be. So the fact that they're rolly and they don't have a, like, if I put it here, it's just going to roll down. I have a stopper. This pen is a stopper. I wish it had little bump outs on the caps to keep it from rolling too bad. It looks a lot sleeker without them, but it'd be nice to have, so that when you just have them laying somewhere, they're not rolling all over the place and, kicking you out. Also, the one other part of the quality that I don't like is the brush and nib end pictures. This is the nib end picture. This is the brush end tip picture. They're very similar. In person, when I'm looking at the brushes, for sure I can tell the difference easily. But you have the caps on most of the time. So when you pick up a marker, there's no indication, there's no extra ring or anything that says brush end. Like, I have to pick this up, turn it around, and this is not as clear. Like, if it had a B for brush and N for nib or something like that, I may have to put some washi tape or something. I hate doing that, but just so it doesn't break up my flow, I don't have to be like, because that's literally what I have to do, be like, meh. Okay, this end. So that's why the quality isn't a 3. The rub off, the nib, and the rolly stuff are my 3 issues, and they're all with the quality. But it's much higher quality than I thought it was going to be, so kudos. Next, the watercolor. I was actually happy with this. It just isn't quite, anytime with either the glycerin or water, anytime you put even the littlest amount of something else, it really breaks the vibrancy down. This is without any water. You can see like this purple, without any water, with water. And some of these, like you can see here, this is just straight. This is with a single drop of water, like a tiny, tiny bit. You have to have it to actually watercolor with, but it does definitely take down the vibrancy, which is fine. You can create lots of awesome backgrounds but I don't know if you can create focal images so much unless that, maybe if that's the only thing on your card and the rest of the card is black or white, you know. It's more of a background technique than anything. Next, we have the calligraphy, and I tried that out on here. I'm not a calligrapher. I was going to have my sister do this, but didn't have time. So you go light pressure up, heavy pressure down, light pressure up, heavy pressure down. And I think it did really well. There are a few better alternatives if you want something really metallic or vibrant on dark. There's a few better alternatives if you're super into calligraphy. If you're like me and just like, you know, to write pretty words, then you're fine. If you are wanting some super fancy art piece, get something a little bit nicer. You can get the like metallic inks or whatever. And if you are a calligrapher, you know what I'm talking about. And you're like, Lisa, stop being such an idiot. And if you don't, then this will be completely perfect for you. So, smooth, I gave this a 2.5 just because you do get some lines. It's not bad though. It is very smooth. It's just not perfectly smooth. Next to the 2s. And the 2s I would say is about average. So the glycerin technique, this was the only thing that I was a little bit sad about. It didn't meet everything else exceeded my expectations. This didn't even meet my expectations. You really just get such a light color. And it's just similar as we were talking about just a moment ago about adding the water. Just really breaks down the pigment. And I think it does that, the glycerin does that even more than the water does that. So, you can do it and you can come up with a pretty cool background. Like I think this will be a really cool background to put on a card. But it's not as cool as I thought it was going to be. Finally, highly reflective. It is very reflective, but I wouldn't say highly reflective. And before you go, oh, Lisa, I'm actually happy about that. This is a pro for me. I'm not a foil person. I find it hard to look at. Kind of hurts my eyes. So this amount of vibrancy and reflectiveness is the exact amount of reflectiveness I want. And so I give it a 2 because there are products that are more reflective and you're going to get more reflective-y results with. But I'm really happy at this level. But since they said it was highly reflective, I had to base it off of that. Finally, we went through all of my cons already with the quality, so I'll do a quick pros. It opens up coloring on dark paper. There's going to be so many amazing cool things you can do on dark paper now with these markers that really haven't been available before. There have been metallic markers on the market before, but I don't think anything even compares to this. So, this really does open up coloring on dark paper. I think it'd be really cute to stamp little character images and color them in this, like unicorns. Oh my gosh, that'll be adorable. Next, it's high quality and much higher than I thought. I've used other metallic markers and they kind of stink. So I'm really happy and they're really nice. And they're beautiful and fun. They were fun things to do. I had fun making this. Super excited to continue. I have plenty of ideas that I'm going to try next to see, how far I can push these markers. But they're beautiful and fun. So overall, what is the overall score? Wazam! 2.5 out of 3 or 85%. So that's like a B plus, guys. And I think this highly reflective one kind of pulled it down. So it might even be closer to 90. For me personally, off of their, I wanted to score off of what they said, and off of what they said, it's 85. Would I recommend this for 100%? Sure. If you have a bunch of other things you can color on dark and this wouldn't add value to you, obviously don't get it. If you're not going to do anything on dark colored cardstock or anything like that, don't get it. But I do like doing stuff on dark, and the metallic looks amazing. The colors are awesome. I just need more. Just need more colors. So, anyway, that is it. I'm going to put some photos here at the end, and hit subscribe if you want to see next week. Well, in a couple days, I'll have a video that goes through more on the paper side of the Spectrum Colorista Dark line and the Daniel Smith Extra Fine watercolors that actually work on dark colors. So that'll be in like 2 or 3 days. And then next week I'm going to have a video about making a card or two and some different techniques with these. So anyway, thanks so much. You can go over to my blog or my new Facebook page, or my Instagram. Follow me on any of those. The Facebook page is really cool because I can really interact with everybody. So I'm excited about that. But that is it. And thanks so much. Bye.